welcome back. Now, our next guest made headlines recently for her exhibition, Sisters Not Twins, an art collection of 100 paintings of breasts.
And painter behind it all, artist Geraldine Carton, joins us now. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
It
Thanks
is
for having me.
lovely to have you here. So, Sisters Not Twins, what a great phrase. Set that up for us.
Yeah, so actually, Sisters Not Twins was the line that was used by one of the participants who took part in the show, which is now becoming a documentary called Boobs, which is out this weekend. But I asked everyone who took part, so sorry, I need to preface this by saying I did a show and it was all about women and our bodies and our experience of life in our bodies, and over 110 women, I think, in total, got involved. And they sent me photos of their boobs, very brave.
Yeah.
And so I painted them as this big wall of boobs. And then there was some more kind of figurative paintings, telling more stories and narrative-based paintings, the stories of women and our lives, that I felt like hasn't been reflected in either kind of traditional art or in modern media, so to speak. But as I was saying, the Sisters Not Twins line was, I asked all the participants to describe their boobs because I really wanted a good range and diversity of all the boobs. And this one woman was like, oh God, you know, they're not very even. There'd be more sisters than twins. And I thought that was so brilliant because, you know, it's so easy to feel like, oh God, there's something wrong with me because they're not perfect. They're not exactly what we see, you know, in magazines or on TV or whatever. But actually, what I wanted to represent was that, you know, it's our common fluctuations and flaws that really connect us to one another and make us human. And what we see on TV really is the exception to the rule rather than what normal is. And this is what normal is.
And it's an interesting area, I think, to explore, because a lot of women can have kind of conflicted relationship to their own boobs, just because if you got them very young, you were self-conscious, or if you fed your babies, they went to nothing, or, you know, so it's a really kind of interesting area for women to kind of examine as well.
Yeah, like that's what myself and Nicola Leddy, the documentary maker, director, just realised, like there's so much stories in our boobs. It's not just these kind of like sexy fun bags. Actually, they can be quite complicated and tell a lot of different sides to the female reality.
When you wanted to do this, because you're sitting there and you know, you're thinking, you know, what are boobs in? I suppose they've been sexualised for so long, right? Mm-hmm. These things that are givers of life, these things that try to kill us, you know, women who have had mastectomies, they are, as you say, incredibly complicated. So when you said, I want to actually look at these because they're inherent to, they're there for most women, right? When you said, right, well, I get a few people who will, you know, you're being naked in so many different forms. You kind of put a call out on Instagram. How many people did you think would get in contact?
Yeah, well, like, it's such a vulnerable thing. I don't know if I would have responded to some random artist being like, show me your boobs. But I was hoping for, in my mind, I was like, 20. Wouldn't 20 be amazing? Gosh, what an impact. And I put a call out on my Instagram, and it seemed to get picked up by all these breastfeeding pages in particular, which I've since learned have very enthusiastic and committed followings. But it kind of went far and wide then from there. And so within a week, I think it was like 290 expressions of interest. So I had to shut down my form. I was like, too many.
Wow.
Yeah, so I realised I tapped into something that was, you know, really connecting with women in a special way. So I brought it down to 100 anyway, and it was amazing. The show and the documentary is so special because it really, I guess, like the art itself. Like, I mean, I was painting pictures and representing stories, but what Nicola did was really touched into the deeper realities going on behind maybe the paintings that you wouldn't maybe understood.
So how did you select who took part? Were you looking at the backstory then behind the story behind the boobs, literally?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people kind of gave a bit of intel about, you know, the why behind why they wanted to get involved. But it was important to me to get a good range of diversity, you know, to really represent women of Ireland today, you know, whether it was like shapes, ages, sizes, skin tones, trans women, breastfeeding women, women had mastectomies, lumpectomies. Like, I really tried very hard. Like, I went on Joe Duffy to, like, you really get the different ages in particular.
That's when we know you're serious.
Yeah.
When you put a call into Joe.
Radio One.
Yeah.
And can you talk us through some of the stories? Look who we're looking at there now. Can you see, what was the story?
Oh, yeah, so that was some more of the figurative paintings that went on in, that were showing in the exhibition. So this one here is called Writing My List of Enemies. So, you know, it was important for me to
Oh, God, it's Taylor Swift?
Well, it was just like I wanted there to be humour as well. Like, it's a very serious topic, but I think women are so funny, and, you know, we are able to have such a laugh alongside the hardships that we bear. So, you know, I hate the trope of, like, women aren't funny. It just makes me so angry. So it was important to me to have some kind of more funnier paintings as well. That reflect those.
But it is like Sophie Willan, an incredible comedian. You know, Alma's Not Normal is an amazing show. She was on Bake Off the other night and she baked her boobs.
Oh, wow.
She was like, I can hold everything underneath them. You know, she's like, these are phenomenal things. She was being funny, but she was being serious about what they are and from her past life. There's a woman here, and I saw this the other day, a woman ran, she'd had a double mastectomy.
Yeah.
And she ran without her top off in a marathon the other day.
Wow.
She was raising awareness and funds for breast cancer, and she was phenomenal. And you have done that within this as well, which is a huge part of women's lives, breast cancer, and that's an emotional thing to be painting, I would assume.
Big time. And women coming in to see the show, it was amazing to see the kind of emotion coming out as people saw themselves reflected back at them. Like, I mean, again, it's the heavy with the light, because it was almost like there was a bit of boob bingo going on. People being like, oh, they're a bit like myself, you know? And that was lovely to see, and it felt like such an immediate way for people to feel connected to one another.
Fair play to everyone who got involved, and then getting involved in a short film as well for the documentary Boobs. Like, they are incredible people. It's so this is premiering Boobs. It's going to be at the Belltable Arts Centre in Limerick, the Catalyst Film Festival. That is the 5th of April, and hopefully people will be able to see it many more places. And this is Sisters Not Twins. What a gorgeous exhibition.
Thanks.
Geraldine, thank you so much for coming. And Geraldine Carton there, you can find out more. Now it's over to Tommy.